action. All right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Go With The Flow. I'm your host, Folarin Okulaja, with a special guest in the building.
Finally.
Someone who's known me longer than anybody, or just as long as anybody else. My older brother, Abim. Welcome to the show.
Hey. Thank you so much.
And he says finally because when I tell you, he has been honestly a dedicated fan of the show since March of 2021 when this started, following accordingly. You didn't buy any merch though because you are a hater.
I mean, honestly though, I think I inspired the show. You're probably not gonna.
All right, same.
You're probably not gonna give me props.
All right, let's hear it go. Well, please tell us how you inspired the show.
I feel like during COVID, I might have been one of the first people to talk about like starting a podcast and like ideas of things to like keep you busy. But you kind of went ahead with it.
Wait, you mean you brought up the idea for yourself or for me?
Kind of like in general, I think.
And I can promise you, I never, ever heard you say that.
That's
the same way he swears he put me on a daily paper. Again, see, that's one of the things about having an older brother. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of ways in which you've inspired me. Admittedly, back in the day, the style, the fashion, always a great role model to look up to.
Okay, we'll get into it.
That's as far as it goes.
All right. If you say so, all right.
There are some things he will try to take credit for, and I'm like, you were not a part of that.
All right. Maybe I'm just getting too old right now.
You are getting old. You just turned 29. Clap it up for the 29-year-olds.
Why are you just giving my government age out there? Well, it's all right. I'm not scared.
29 is young, okay?
Yeah.
And even as a 24-year-old, even me and my friends will get into these mindsets and these conversations. Even me with like work and everything, I'm like, oh, I need to do X, Y, and Z before I turn X age. But at the end of the day, I'm still young. Yeah. I'm only 24. You're only 29. In the grand scheme of things, God willing, you're still in the first third of your life, damn near.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah, I mean, but the way, I think it depends on how you phrase it. Because when someone put it that, like, I'm in the last year of my 20s.
Oh, yeah, you're in your late 30s. Late 20s, sorry.
That's kind of when it made it seem like, dang, I really got time's flying. I don't know where it went.
Yeah, but okay, tell the people who you are. And again, I will also caveat by saying, it's not that I haven't wanted you on the show, but you don't live in New York. You're here for the summer. And so the studio I record in is in New York City. So how would I have had you on beforehand? But sorry, tell the people who you are, introduce yourself, and let's get into things.
All right, cool. Like Flo said, I'm
that's the first time. First of all, he's acting brand new for the show. He doesn't even call me Flo. But
I mean, it's your show. Go with the flow.
No, sorry, it is Go With The Flow.
Yeah, I'm like
Flo, okay.
I'm like, I don't know if people know you by a government name.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I'm Abim. Folarin's oldest brother. Currently in New York for the summer, like you said. I'm working at ABC right now. So I'm a doctor, so I kind of help them with their medical content, like their medical healthcare content on like most of their platforms. It's like me and other people, so it's not like it's only me doing it. But yeah, I'll be in New York for the month. Looking forward to it.
Love it. Okay, first impression, because you've been here a week, and when I texted you, you said something that was hilarious. I said, because I always like to give my guests a heads up, I said at 9:08 for a 10 p.m. or 10 a.m. recording, see you soon, Abim. He said, yep, leaving soon. Our other brother, Coin, said, Abim, the true New Yorker. And he said, if I was younger and had more money, I would live here.
Yeah, honestly, I don't know why. So, I mean, I've always wanted to live in New York. I think like the 20s would have been like the perfect time for me.
Which they just ran out.
Yeah, and I feel like I guess I'm not living in New York anymore. That's why I'm like short sprint. But I think, I don't know why people live in this city if you don't have money.
See, and I don't know how I feel about that take, because obviously I'm in a job, pays me well enough to live here comfortably. It's even comfortably is a stretch. I read this article that says to actually live comfortably here, you need to make like $200K a year. Again, the article said it. I didn't say it. I'm not going to say what I make. Basically, I don't make that, but
I promise you, if you made how much you made and you came to Philly,
I would be balling.
You would be
every weekend.
Exactly. And why would you want to live in New York when you could do that in like another city?
For the exact same reason that you just said. You just said if you were younger and you had a little more money, you would live here. The energy here is different. Whatever industry you want to work in, I'm in finance. The best. This is like Wall Street's here. It's the financial hub of the country.
I guess.
If you're in entertainment, this is where you want to be.
I guess.
It doesn't really matter what field you're in. That is the attractiveness and the beauty of New York, where you will overlook all the pricing and everything else and the bullshit that you'll see on the subway and all these other things because of the special nature of the city. So that's why I'm in New York. That's why I have no plans of leaving New York anytime soon. What I was gonna say is, as much as yes, I make enough money to live here comfortably, there's so many people who make a lot less, and they are also, they've lived in the city for a long time.
Yeah.
They've gotten by. They've been able to build whatever careers for themselves. So I don't like the statement that's like, oh, you need to have a certain amount of money to live here. There will always be the struggles that you're having and the way that you need to, like, again, you will never be comfortable. Nothing will ever be easy. But again, people have lived here on
debatable.
50, 60, 70K their whole lives, and they make it work. Is it easy? Do they have to? Again, you need to be more frugal, and you can't just be going out spending whatever. But that's part of life, being disciplined. So it's doable. Not everybody's working in finance, making whatever figure salaries. People are doing regular jobs, and they're making it work. So
I mean, like you said, it depends on the lifestyle you kind of want to live. But like for someone like me, like I like to travel, I like to like do like nice things. Like, am I gonna like? I mean, I guess in my early 20s I can compromise on that, but I'm at the stage where like if I want to travel, I want to travel, and not like I'm trying to make rent this month, so like I can't book that trip or things like that.
That's the discipline that I need. I do need that discipline.
Yeah.
But okay, New York. It's been a week. How's the experience been so far? How's the internship been? And we'll get more into what exactly you're doing for ABC. And then also you did an internship with Dr. Oz, was it?
I did.
A couple of summers ago. So, mate, are you trying to transition your career into
I'm trying
working in TV, low-key?
I'm trying to like still be the media person in the family. But no, I think... So I guess I'll answer the question how New York has been. New York has been cool. I think it's everything I've expected. I guess the friends I have here are mostly in healthcare, so they're all working right now. It's like hard. The people I know in the city, it's hard to like hang out with them during the week. So like I have so much free time. I'm like, dang, I don't know what to do with my time. Like,
what's the schedule like?
It's usually like 9 to like 5ish, and like whenever you're done.
That's a whole job.
Yeah, but like it's like a total different, like it's literally not stressful at all. Maybe it just speaks to like my job, but like literally in my regular job, like working in like the ER, I like come back home and like I can't do anything. Like I have to like sit on the couch, like shower, sit on the couch, maybe watch like a 30-minute episode or something and like fall asleep and like do it again.
Okay, and we'll get into you being a doctor later on and working in emergency medicine and all that later. But for now, sticking to the internship. So go into exactly why it is. And again, you're educating me. You're educating the people. Why does ABC, why do they need doctors that they are getting to intern on the show to work for them? Explain exactly what it is that you are doing for them.
Gotcha, yeah. So, I mean, all these shows like you see on TV, like especially like during COVID, they talk about like a number of like healthcare topics, and they're like everyone watches TV, everyone listens to like radio. Not everyone, but a lot of people listen to radio. That's how people get information these days. So you could hear someone say something on TV and like you're not gonna fact check them. You're like take what they say for gospel. So the people who write the scripts for the doctors on TV to say they don't have a medical background. So
really?
Yeah. So most of the depending on how long you've been working in TV, but most of the producers don't have a medical background. So like, for example, during COVID, if they're like, this number of people are dying from COVID, they want like a doctor to be able to say like, yeah, that's true. Or if they're like, these are the symptoms of this disease, like, do you want someone who like their job is like as a producer just to write scripts to make TV more like appealing, but they might not know or like have the right context for that like disease or whatever is going on, if that makes sense.
So essentially your job is to fact check whatever it is that the producers are given to the talking heads who are in front of the camera.
Yeah, that, and like I can also like pitch ideas. So like if I want to like write an article about something like something healthcare related hot in the media, like I could do that. Like that's one of my goals right now. Hopefully I'll get like an article or two on abc.com. like the TV shows, like at my other job, which we'll get into. But you used to be able
Other
to
job
like,
being Dr. Oz or being a
yeah, Dr. Oz,
okay,
yeah.
I'll ask you about that next.
So like you used to be able to like work with the producers. There would be like, I want to talk about this topic. How's like a fun way we can put like a graphic together or something that like is visually appealing and still be like accurate. So like you're able to use a lot of your like, I'm able to use a lot of my creative side basically.
Okay, and so yeah, then how does this one oh sorry. Actually, first question. Which of the specific shows are you working for?
So I'm working for all of ABC. So
all of ABC.
yeah,
So you could technically work on the NBA Finals.
I mean, if they have like a healthcare,
if they need a medical expert, you could be the one. Honestly, they should. Oh, you know how they have like the referees that they'll like have on call. Okay, this is what we're thinking for this call. What if it was like, okay, we see this person go down with an injury. Let's cut to Abim. What do we think it is?
Yo,
how do we diagnose it?
It's funny you say that because I mean, when I get more clout in the industry, like that's one of the things.
Inshallah, it'll happen.
Yeah,
happen one day.
Exactly. I want to pitch that to like ESPN. So like
ESPN,
or like
we're gonna okay. So this is your pitch. This is your moment. Professional studio.
All
ESPN,
right.
go.
ESPN
pitch.
All right. So I mean, I'm a doctor. I love sports. Basically, a lot of people who talk about like healthcare stuff like or like injuries on TV, they don't exactly know what they're saying or like how their injury is gonna like affect them in the future. Like one of the ones that like pisses me off is like, oh, this person went down with the ACL. Like, what does that mean? Like, did they tear it? Did they sprain it? Like, so it's kind of like talking about fun ways to like bring that person's injury to light, make the layman person know what exactly does that injury mean, like how is that going to affect them, like what does the ACL do, like how many people know what like the ACL does in the knee?
I don't. What does it do in the knee?
Exactly. Exactly. So I think like even if it's like a short like 10 like maybe a 5-minute segment on like Sports Center or like maybe like a 20-minute or 30-minute like show, like
okay, I like
it'll be cool to like inform like the general public about like common injuries and like how it's affecting like the athletes they love.
I like that. And then also you can even layer in, okay, because anytime some injury happens, people just throw out projections. They're going to be out for 10 to 12 weeks. But is that actually realistic?
Yeah.
Saying, okay, for this injury, if it happens this way, this is the timeline. This is what the rehab entails. If it's this way, this is what the timeline is. This is what the rehab entails. Hey,
yeah, exactly.
ESPN,
Yes,
I'm going to clip this up for you, okay? This is your pitch.
Cool.
Send it out to everybody.
Yeah.
Send it to your people. We'll make it happen. But yeah, I agree. I like that aspect of things because the TV, I think a lot of people, and me especially, not me, okay, yeah, I'll speak for myself, and then I'll make an assumption for how I think other people are feeling also.
Yeah.
I just don't trust a lot of things that I see on TV.
Yeah, exactly.
One, I didn't even know that it's good to know that there are doctors with actual MDs who are in the background fact checking stuff people say. But whether it be politicians on TV, whether it's the people on CNBC, MSNBC, whether it's people on ABC, NBC, wherever, I feel like they just get on there to be as entertaining as possible. And actually, I know that they do. One of my favorite shows is Pardon the Interruption.
Yeah.
It's a sports talking show. And literally at the end of every show, they will go down and do corrections for stuff that they misstated throughout the episode. If they say a stat that's wrong, they have someone in the air, they say, no, that's actually wrong.
Yeah.
And then they go and correct that at the end. That lends them credibility. It lets you know that they actually care about putting out accurate information and they're not just going out saying whatever. And I just feel like a lot of other media, national media, TV, they're just saying whatever for the sake of it.
Yeah, so another thing that a lot of people don't realize is like all these like media personalities, they're not the ones like sitting on every night like Googling like, oh, what it's like a fun thing like my audience wants to talk about.
Yeah, they're not doing the work I'm doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Writing, producing, editing, hosting. It's all the hats are.
Exactly. So like most of the time it's like the night before the show, like the producer's briefing them like, this is the script we have. This is what the input from like the medical team. Like, are you comfortable with this? And like a lot of times, I mean, they have no other choice, but they can make changes where they want. But like the background team does most of the legwork for them.
So are you interacting with the talent or just the producers?
Both.
Okay.
But like the talent, not as much. but we do interact like a little bit. Yeah.
You're not going to walk up to Michael Strahan and be like, yo, you said this about that. By the way, I think here's a couple notes. Here's a couple pointers.
Maybe in a few years, but right now, no.
Hey,
not
man,
really.
I see this for you. How do they, so you're interning there. Are there people who do this full time? Is it a full-time job?
So there's like one person who's doing like a year-long fellowship.
Okay.
But I think they just they're in New York for like 3 months, and then they do other things for like the rest of the year. But like most people were saying, it's one thing to like when you go from like the hustle and bustle from like seeing people die in front of you to like
way to make it sad. Oh my god.
Yeah, like to like treating like sick people every day to like sitting at a desk like most of the day, and then you're like, it kind of puts stuff into perspective, and you're like, this isn't really like that hard of a job.
Which one, I mean, relatively, yes.
Yeah, relatively. Actually, yeah,
like,
I should say that.
Yeah, relatively. And
yeah.
I'm gonna say yes. Even my life and day in finance, day in and day out in finance, working all those hours. When you look at everything in the grand scheme of the world, how important is it compared to you being in emergency medicine, literally saving lives, doing things like that? Not at all. So yes, that's the caveat. Relatively, everyone's job is hard in their own way. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess if you put that, I guess yeah, like you said, I guess it's perspective. Like when I go into work in New York at ABC, I'm like, all right. I mean, what I do can harm people. So that's part of the reason we're there. So like, if like a new like supplement comes out and everyone's like marketing it, and it's like, oh, take this supplement because it does this and this for you. But if you don't phrase it in the right way or like put it in the right context, someone could like get harmed at home.
You could be like the president and go and say, what did he say when it was COVID?
About I think it was like
something injecting bleach or something.
Yeah,
exactly. You could have that type of thing happen.
Exactly.
So that's not what we want. If he had you working for him, you would have been like, yo, sir. No, don't. No bleach. No bleach.
That guy seems off the wire. I don't know if anyone can reel him in.
And so how does this compare to, is this essentially what you were doing for Dr. Oz, and what was it like working with and for Dr. Oz?
Yeah, so Dr. Oz was different because I actually took a year off of medical school.
You did that for a year?
I did. But it didn't.
That was cold. Oh.
Yeah, that's why I saw. So initially, that's when I was supposed to live my New York dream.
Okay,
fair
enough. Which
kind of sucked. Yeah, so I took a year off between my third and fourth year of medical school, and I was like, I'm gonna live in New York. Like med school has been so stressful. I'm gonna live the life here. But then COVID hit. So then we just had to they had to do like a complete 360. They were producing from home, shooting from home. Like I would go into the studio like maybe once a week. Everyone was like separated. It was sad, but like it was also a cool experience. So like from that show, it's just a healthcare show. So everything on the show was like healthcare related. So I had like a lot more input on that show. So a producer would come to me in like the earlier parts of like their writing or like what they wanted to do. And I would be like, oh, like saying it this way could be cool, or like putting this graphic here could be cool.
You actually have some sort of creative input into what they were doing.
And then that man loved TikTok, so like we literally had like
oh my god, is that oh my goodness. Is this where your love, which we'll get into also. When I tell you, no matter what, honestly, we'll get into it later. This is TikTok god.
Yeah, but like we had like
so Dr. Oz influenced you to love TikTok. Okay.
A little bit maybe. But like we literally had like a meeting every week that was like, oh, what could like Dr. Oz pitch on TikTok, or what can you do on TikTok? So it was like it was talking that. I also, another thing we did too was like, I mean, what people don't know is like we wrote a lot of like the articles you see on like dr.oz.com. Like me and my other medical people.
I didn't even know he had a website. Keep speaking as I look on dr.oz.com.
I mean, I guess now the show doesn't exist. I don't know
true. Did he drop out to go run for governor of Philadelphia?
It wasn't governor. It was senator.
Senator in Pennsylvania. Yeah. But then he lost.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't understand. It's a much different topic. You're rich, you're successful, you're famous. Why go into politics?
I guess you have nothing else to do. Like,
come on, man. Go try to buy a sports team or something. What's wrong with people? But okay, I digress. Continue.
But yeah, so like a lot of the articles that like he would write, so like me and my other like medical people would write it up. We would send it to him. He would like send back edits and be like, cool, I guess I like it this way. and then that would be published under like the name Dr. Oz.
Okay.
Yeah.
But not see, even now that you bring up that point, Dr. Oz obviously is a medical solely focused show. How much even is there on ABC that's requiring your input across all their channels?
Yeah.
Or
So
shows, not channels.
like one of the like anchors on like GMA3, she's like a medical doctor. And then like even stuff like now like bird flu is like a little bit of the hot and common topic.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
what, what do you mean by
like,
that? What?
that's like I mean I'm not trying to like spread, but like that's like
Hey, man, this is would be the one telling the ABC anchor what to say anyway. Tell the people what should we know about the bird flu.
nah, it's too early to talk. It's too early to talk about. But basically, that's like the hot craze in like the like healthcare media right now is that because bird flu like apparently like someone's died in like Mexico.
I saw that. Was it New Mexico or Mexico?
It was Mexico,
Okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Okay, I saw that headline.
And they're trying to like stop the craze of like telling people that like, hey, like so far right now, we don't think it transfers from like animals to humans.
Yo,
but
as you say this, I'm thinking of like a great segment for you to do on whatever show hires you one day to be on the show. Be like, what's the disease of the day?
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, bird flu is popping up over here. I saw this other one that's crazy. It was a sexually transmitted ringworm. The people need to know about that one.
I mean, I don't
I'm just saying this will be trending, and again, this will play into people's fear about like every single disease that will probably kill them, but that they think will kill them, but probably won't. Be like, oh, there's a case of this here. Here's what you need to know about it, and then you can also help people to like let them know that it's not that deep, and saying, oh, you have a 1 in this percentage chance of getting it. It's actually not fatal. The disease of the day. So, Ben, what's the disease of the day?
No, so I think, I mean, in theory, that sounds good, right? But one other thing I learned, like, working in media is, like, you can have, like, a great idea and think, like, people are going to like it, but it's actually not, like, the case.
It'd be like that.
So you have to, like, do stuff that's kind of relevant to, like, the everyday, like, what's going on right now. Like, for example, the other day, the guy on the Chiefs had, like, the seizure.
A seizure and a cardiac
arrest. So like now people are like Googling like, oh, what's a cardiac arrest? Like what's a seizure? Blah, blah, blah. So then ABC and all these other news outlets try to like put stuff out quick. That's like when you Google it, you click on them first because they have stuff explaining what exactly happened.
And that's another, again, now that you say that, and going back to what I said earlier about having like a doctor on call, I remember when the DeMar Hamlin thing happened.
Yeah.
And again, you're my brother, the doctor.
Yeah.
So we're in the group chat, and you're making all these like and the way I cited you to people, I was like, "Well, my brother said."
That's crazy.
My brother, the doctor, said he doesn't think it's this because blah blah blah. You spent 4 years in med school. I hope you're saying some right things, but it would help people to have that certified expert opinion of okay, this is what happened. It's not this because this. It might be this because this. Blah 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 blah. It's necessary.
Yeah.
Alleviate some concerns, but also back to the sexually transmitted form of ringworm. I need to stop joking because that shit's in New York City.
Bro,
I didn't even, when I saw the headline first, I didn't know it was in New York, but headline says, new sexually transmitted form of ringworm reported in NYC. Here's what you need to know. So maybe now it's not as funny. So maybe now I do need you to alleviate my fears about this.
Yeah,
what do you know? What can you tell me?
I mean, this is gonna air, so I can't like be giving out. I mean, first of all, like ringworm spreads like skin to skin, so like I don't know why. I don't know.
Body to body, skin
exactly.
to skin.
So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know what that is. I haven't seen that, but I mean, ringworm in general like spreads skin to skin. Like,
okay, well then let me educate you then.
Yeah.
I just from CBS, a competitor, but we'll trust them.
Yeah.
So far, there has only been one reported case, a patient in New York. What is the new sexually transmitted ringworm? Oh boy. Trisophyton mentagroptis type 7 or TM7 is a sexually transmitted infection that can appear in the groin area and can be itchy. It looks like a circular patch of red skin.
Sounds like ringworm to me. it literally just sounds like ringworm. And like I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know that much about it, but you probably treat it like the same way you would treat any other ringworm.
The study says the patient, a man in his 30s, noticed noticed itchy lesions after a trip to England, Greece, and California, where he said he had sex with multiple male partners.
See, and then that's the other thing about like the media too. Like they always try to be like the first to like report something. So like they mention like this new ringworm thing, but like it might actually not be a thing. And it's like one person that had it.
Yeah.
So is it responsible to like actually report that and like put fear in like people's minds?
Now I'm scared.
I mean, you're scared, but like, is it like a reason to be scared though? Like, I don't know.
Nah, probably not.
That's what I'm like saying. I don't know. That's the responsibility of the media.
So how much on the Dr. Oz show did you actually get to interact with the man himself?
So I mean, it was like I said, it was during COVID, so it was brief, but like I got like a few interactions here.
You got some airtime with him.
Yeah, I got some airtime on TV too.
You did. You dissected a chicken nugget.
I did.
That was it. I was like, there, bro. You went to medical school for 4 years, and they got you on.
did.
What show is What network is that Dr. Oz on?
It was on. I think it's on. That's a good question.
They had you on TV dissecting.
Yeah, we shot. I mean, we shot out of the CBS studio, but it was. Dang, I actually don't know. That's a good question.
Honestly, whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, so now you've worked on these two different, currently working, previously worked. Again, I see a lane for you with that. We're going to manifest that. We'll make that happen. Now back to your origin story of even being a doctor in the first place. I know your origin story. Give the people, your origin story was almost my origin story. Tell the people why are you a doctor? Which is so funny. Being pre-med, I've spoken about that many times, or spoken about this many times on this show. Me being pre-med, realizing it wasn't for me, and just seeing how many other people are doing it when it's not for them. I feel like I've single-handedly convinced so many people to not be pre-med. I'm just like, sit down, think about it. Do you really want to do this and go that path? Or do you want to go this, make this much money, this quickly, go do X, Y, and Z? So why are you a doctor?
It's funny. Someone asked me this question yesterday at like an event I went to, and honestly, the like sweet and short answer is because I'm Nigerian.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yo,
exactly.
But to dive more into it though, I mean, our parents wanted you guys to become doctors too.
They tried,
but it didn't happen. But I mean,
difference between me and you, I'm stubborn.
It depends. So I think I know where they went wrong. But let me answer the question first.
Wrong with me or you?
You like
I know I do too, but let's talk about it.
I think
Go.
So like for me, like growing up in school, like I always liked math. I always liked science. The body always like fascinated me. I think I'm a good guy. I think I like helping people.
I think I'm a good guy.
I think I like helping people too.
I think you're a good guy.
Thanks. So honestly, the reason I'm a doctor today is because I like met so many like good people along the way who had like similar dreams, and kind of like we all kind of helped each other along. My interests kind of aligned. I'm not gonna lie, like things like the MCAT, like the exam you have to take into med school to get into med school. I did that once. Like, I went to Rutgers, which was like a great school, had like a great pre-med program. It's like one of the best colleges for getting like minorities into med school.
Oh, I didn't know that. Shout out Rutgers.
Yeah, shout out Rutgers. But I think for me, everything just kind of like aligned for me to get into medicine. And for you...
And it's also helpful context. So we moved to America when I was 9. You were...
I was 14, yeah.
Again,
so I started high school.
That exactly. If I moved when you... Again, all these things factored into the reason you're in med school and I'm not, but continue.
Yeah. And, yeah, like, I think in medicine, what people don't know is that, like, you could honestly... Any interest you have in the world, I honestly believe you can do it in medicine.
I would say the same about finance, but again, different point, but continue.
But so like for example, like if you're business minded, like for example, I have my MBA.
3 degrees. Yo, 3 degrees. Making any African parent proud. 3 degrees. I got 1. I'm happy with my 1. I'm sticking with my 1.
Exactly.
But continue with your 3 degrees.
But like,
you hear that, lady? 3 degrees.
3
okay.
degrees,
3
yeah.
degrees.
3 degrees.
3 degrees hotter.
But like, if I wanted to do something like business wise in healthcare, which eventually I want to do, like I could do that. like the media stuff, like social media is popping these days. Everyone wants to be like an influencer. I mean, if anyone wants to sign me,
Get a Bim
I'm
Scrubs.
like, hashtag get a Bim Scrubs.
We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that. And third, we got 30 minutes. We'll get to everything. Go.
All right, cool. But yeah, if you want to do like media stuff, if you want to teach, like literally anything I think you want to do, like you can do it in medicine. And I think it's better because you're making like a great impact on people. You're not like screwing them over and like trying to take their money.
Who are you talking about?
I don't know that. I feel
you don't know what I do.
Actually, don't. You never really explain what you do.
I've tried to explain.
Yeah,
whatever.
That's
okay.
Yeah.
That's enough work talk before they find me. So the reason, okay, but you didn't say why I'm not a doctor. You said you were going to say that.
I think they try to make you follow in my footsteps. So, like, for context also, I was biomedical engineering in undergrad.
Biomedical engineer, bro.
And I mean, I went to Rutgers, which is a great school. I'm not knocking it at all. But, like, half the people in my engineering class, it was obvious they didn't want to be there. And it's easier not easier, but like I guess it is easier to be like the top of the class when like half the class
talk about it
doesn't want to be there, and like you're one of like the people that are like focused, like actually goal oriented. But like for you went to Princeton.
Go Tigers!
Literally, like everyone, like when you describe your experience,
bro, I was a dumbass.
Yo, I feel like everything you experienced and like I heard you talk about, that was similar to what I experienced in med school. So like to go from that to experiencing that early in college, like I don't know what I would have done.
Yeah, I think so. And two of the things you said, I mentioned I'm a stubborn person. Don't try to make me be somebody else. Mm-hmm. Just because Abim is biomedical engineering, pre-med, blah, blah, blah. That's his life. Exactly. That is your life. I want to chart my own course. Mm-hmm. And so, again, them trying to insist so heavily, oh, your older brother's doing it, that's why I should do it. And so, I'm my own person. Let me do my own thing.
I think if you majored in something not easier, but like something
probably easier, yes, because they also forced me to be a engineer to start with. So I started engineering, and then when it wasn't engineering, it had to be STEM. So exactly, I think
if you majored in something easier, you were getting like better grades, and like you enjoyed school a lot more. Like I think you probably could have made it to be a doctor.
Potentially, you know what's so funny? I looked at my transcript I graduated in 2022. I looked at my transcript for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I finally saw that I got an A on my thesis.
Yeah, I saw that one of your
Let's go. Anything is possible. Neuroscience A on the thesis. Let's go. Mm-hmm. But I again looked back at my freshman year classes. My freshman year classes were, the freshman fall was physics, chemistry, gen chem, math, and computer science. Mm-hmm. That was my freshman fall. My freshman spring at Princeton.
Yeah.
Freshman spring was physics again. Mm-hmm. Second part of gen chem. I used to do a writing seminar, so I did that, and then I'm free. Oh, I think a biology class.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
What? I was scienced out after 1 year of college, and so. Again, yes, making me go down because if I would have done whatever other humanities major, there would have been at least half the classes that weren't STEM focused and would have at least let me breathe and feel like I could do something else. But then also, the pre-med advising in Princeton, I don't think it was great from my slight recollection.
Yeah, if you went to Rutgers, I'm like pretty confident you probably would have been in.
That's the next point that I was gonna make. One of the good things about going to a place like a Princeton is the fact that certain companies, you're a target school for a lot of companies. Mm-hmm. Doesn't matter the industry, and so you have the opportunity to go work in places that they're not impossible when you work at other schools, but it's just easier. When I look at I was going to say too much that gets into work and whatever, but basically it's so much there's a pipeline into certain places that, again, if you can go be making, even if it's about the money, I want to make money. If you care about money, there's certain places you can go and make X amount of figures right out of school. Yeah. You could go work in this industry. The network will get you to all these different places. And so I saw that. I was like, why am I slaving away trying to be go to med school where that is one thing where if just because you go to an Ivy League, that doesn't benefit you for going into med school. If your GPA is shit, your GPA is shit. Exactly. You might need to do a post-bac to go elsewhere.
Exactly.
You need, and again, this is, okay, I was going to say too much.
Mm-hmm.
That is the moral of the story.
Yeah.
And so when I went there, I was like, okay, I can go, I'll do all these other things and things will be okay. I don't need to go to med school. Whereas, if I went to a Rutgers, again, no disrespect to Rutgers, but would have been more likely to stick with that path. I'll probably be a doctor somewhere right now. Who knows?
Exactly.
Maybe I would have ended up at Harvard Medical School because you know me, I like nice things. So that's where I would have ended up.
There are other nice schools. My school was nice.
I met a guy last night who's at Harvard Med School. I was like, shout out to you, Nigerian dude, of course, because what else?
He's there right now?
He's there right now. He was born in Nigeria, moved to America when he was 14. I was about to put his whole business out there. Went to school in Boston and then stayed in Boston. But yes, he is at Harvard Medical School right now. So you work in actually, before we get to emergency medical school, quickly on the medical school experience, those 4 years, how would you describe that overall experience?
Oh my gosh. So I'm like having nightmares thinking about PTSD. So I've always been like good at school like all my life. Like I think I've been like towards the top of the class like
Talk about it.
And then I got to med school literally like the first week. I carried that momentum in my head. I was like, oh, like I've been so good. Like med school is gonna be like easy
cakewalk.
Like what are people always talking about? Literally like the first day, I remember we had like anatomy. They were like, oh, you got to memorize all these like parts of the body. And I was like, dang, this is the first day. And then like the first week happened. I was like, dang, this is the first week. And it's like it was literally like me saying like, dang, they really expect us to do all this the whole like 4 years basically.
Damn, but you never adjusted in any way?
So it was hard. So the content is like so much. And it's hard to be like on top of everything. So like there will be nights like I'll study till like 2 a.m. and like I'm thinking like I still don't know like what's going
most
on.
of whatever, yeah.
I'm like I tried different ways to like adjust, but I don't think I ever like found what worked for me.
Interesting, because I found myself saying the same thing about working full time. Literally after every first week, I remember telling myself that was when Friday would hit and I'm leaving the office, that was the longest week of my life.
Yeah.
Well, then when you say that enough times, your brain, I think, realizes that's your new like equilibrium, and that's your new kind of that's your new point of reference. So what used to feel like the longest week of my life, now that's just my life. And so now it needs to take something so extraordinary for me to be like, okay, that's the longest week of my life.
Yeah.
So I'm surprised that you weren't, I mean, not even surprised. I guess that's just the nature of medical school.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm in a career, so it's unsustainable I'm not going to be working in finance for 30 years, God forbid. But if that is supposed to be your whole career, it's unsustainable if you're saying for 30 years, every week, this was the longest week of my life.
Yeah. And low-key, honestly, I did not take med school that seriously, like, for a good amount of time. Because, like, you literally have these people who've, like, taken years off between undergrad to get to med school. Like, I didn't realize med school is, like, a professional school. Like, people are here to, like, set themselves up for, like, the rest of their life.
Yeah, you also went right from undergrad. Which I feel like people are even advice against now. I feel like go do something else for a little bit and then go after.
Yeah, exactly. So I didn't have any, like, life perspective on things. I was just like, this is, like, school. Like, I'm just here to learn. But you don't understand you're learning to do a career for, like, a very long time. That's, like, you're like saving people's lives, and you gotta like actually know the stuff they're teaching you.
Yeah. So undergrad, hard 4 years, and then the process of getting into residency, right?
Yeah, residency.
Just explain for the people who might be listening. They might want to go be a doctor. They don't know what the process is like. Walk me through like just like summary from literally leaving college, undergrad, to med school, residency, board exams. Walk me through what all this entails. Let people know what is ahead of them.
Yeah.
You might deter some people away. That's kind of the point of this.
That's crazy. No. Only here to influence. No, but so I mean, people know all the way till undergrad. So when you're in undergrad, you take like the MCAT, which is the exam that gets you into med school. You apply for med school just like any other, like similar to when you were applying for undergrad. You get to like pick which med school you want to go to. When you're in med school, it's usually 4 years. depending on the specialty you want to go into. Like some are a lot more competitive. You might take time off to do research to make yourself more competitive. And then the application to residency is kind of wild, which is after med school.
All right, break it down.
But like, imagine like you would want to apply. There's this general job you want, right? And there's like maybe like 50 companies in the whole U.S. that have that job you want. You could apply to like all 50 companies all over the U.S. and you're like, you might get interviews from like 10 maybe. And then you do the interviews for the 10 and then you rank all the 10 places that you interview at. And then those places that interview rank all the like hundreds of people they interview too. And then there's a machine which is literally supposed to like spit out an algorithm that's like, this is the best match based on how you rank them and they ranked you. So literally one day you open a letter and you're like, this is where I'm going. So if you ranked somewhere in like Utah and like let's say like your top 3 were like New York City and you rank Utah 4th, you could open the letter and like, dang, I'm going to Utah.
You're going to Utah. Get ready to speak Utah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of how it works.
And that's so. And so again, I think that's an important point to emphasize. So there's probably people, I guess. Simple question: do you know probably roughly what percentage of people who don't get matched?
I do not know the number.
Is it low? Is it? Let me Google.
Again, it depends on the specialty. So, like, if you're doing something like orthopedics or like neurosurgery, like there's probably like a higher percentage of people who don't match. But like usually, like the primary care specialties, so like family medicine, like internal medicine. Another thing that helps those specialties is like there's so many spots.
Okay, less than 10%. According to the National Resident Matching Program, less than 10% of U.S. medical school graduates don't match with the residency program each year. All right, that's not a lot, but honestly, I feel like that number should be 0.
It should be, but the thing that also,
especially since there's a shortage of doctors. I saw another study saying there will be a shortage of physicians. And again, we're gonna squeeze all this in, but we'll get very quickly into the process and how it weeds certain people out when it probably basically the process of becoming a doctor. But
yeah, I mean, the thing too is like people go into med school for like a certain specialty. So like if I've been like orthopedics all the way, and then I don't match, like a lot of times it's not appealing to those people to be like, oh, like let me go into like a primary care specialty like family medicine. Because I mean they have a lot more spots. Like you're still going to be a doctor, but in their head they had this idea of like being an orthopedic surgeon, and like family medicine or like internal medicine is not going to like satisfy that craving for them.
Fair. Okay, so now you've gotten matched. You end up in Utah. You pull up in Utah. What's next?
So then after you're like, depending on the specialty. So like I'm emergency medicine. So my residency is 3 years. Some places it's 4.
What year are you now?
I'm about to enter my 3rd year.
Oh damn! So you about to be making money soon?
July 1st.
Okay, that's what's up.
Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
But oh wait, you can't tell people I'm making money because then they'll come.
He's making no money.
No, I'm making no money right now.
Continue.
But after residency, so my residency is 3 years. Some places it's 4 for emergency medicine. Like surgical programs are like 5+ years.
Yeah, what's neurosurgery, like 10? Something stupid?
It's like 7.
7, okay. Yeah. Still long. After 4 years of medical school, yeah.
Yeah, so you do a residency, and then you can apply, like after so 2025, I can apply to be like a full-time doctor, like no supervision, like I'm the one calling the shots.
Dr. House.
Exactly. But I guess there's this trend of like applying to like further training called fellowship.
Oh boy.
So like imagine doing like the whole residency application thing again and like not knowing where you're gonna end up in the country.
Okay, and so we've spoken about again how hard medical school is, getting into residency, the whole matching program. What are board exams? Tell the people what board exams are.
Yeah, so like when you do when I finished my 3 years of emergency medicine, like everyone in the country has to take an exam to be like, this is what it takes to be an emergency room doctor. Like do you know all these like common things you should know to be an emergency room doctor? And I think the other thing you're referring to is like in med school, there are these like standardized exams called like step 1, 2, or 3.
Those things too. Yep.
So those are like, again, more standardized exams trying to like test your knowledge.
Sounds to me, which again,
what
yes,
you
being a
learn.
doctor is an important role. Sounds to me like they're trying to get people the fuck out every step of the way. Because these
Yeah.
these are like real exams. These
Oh
are,
yeah, they're hard exams.
which again, because I compare it to finance, where in finance you depend on where you are. There's like there's a few series exams as a SI you take. Those you need to study for are real exams.
Mhm.
After that, it's continuing education. Just damn near a joke. It's,
Yeah.
you're supposed to pass it. It doesn't sound like that's the case for you. Which again is just a whole process of, it seems like, trying to get people out.
No, I mean, you're supposed to pass it. I mean, you can pass it, but the thing though is like, again, those people who are applying to those competitive specialties, those are kind of like the things they look for to like weed people out in those specialties per se.
Fair.
So you can still get like another specialty, but are you gonna get like the specialty you want?
Okay, fair. 2 questions, quick
Mhm.
ones. How much do you use organic chemistry in your day-to-day as a doctor in emergency medicine? Fuck Orgo. That class ruined my life. Honestly, no. That's what got me out of pre-med. That was the
Yeah.
final nail in the coffin, so I hate Orgo. That class is stupid.
I actually really liked Orgo. So before I answer your question, so organic chemistry to me it was like solving a puzzle almost. It was like they teach you all the steps to like solve a puzzle, and then you kind of like had to come up with a final answer. So I don't think it was necessarily like classes like that. It's not necessarily like the content you're learning. It's kind of the skills you're using to like solve the problem.
What about physics? How much are you using physics? Which, you know what grade I got in physics?
No, I don't.
I got a D in physics.
Yeah. Physics is like,
That shit was so hard. It was so
It is-
hard.
I mean,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness. Whatever. I'm not that smart. I don't know. I just
No,
keep
I think you are. You're smarter than you think.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Physics. How much do you use physics in your day to day? Why did I need to learn about circuits to
So-
become a doctor?
So not directly, but like off the top of my head, I can't think. But they're like things that like.
There you go.
apply.
The answer is no. Get physics out of the requirements. There you go. You heard it here first on Go With The Flow.
No.
The process to become a doctor is unnecessary. You are weeding people out. They don't need physics. They don't need orgo. They don't need all these other things.
No. I mean, I don't know how long that's gonna take to pass, but
Yeah. Okay. And then next question. Actually, quickly. So emergency medicine. What is that? What is it like being a doctor working in the ER?
yeah. So it's interesting because like people describe it as kind of like the concierge service for like the hotel. Sorry, for the like hospital.
Okay.
So imagine like, oh, like I'm sick. Like let me go. Like when you think about the hospital, you think of like going to the emergency room. So my job is kind of to see this person. Like, are they sick enough where like I have to admit them to the hospital? Are they sick enough where like I can treat them and they can go home and follow up? Yeah, so that's basic. Or like, yeah, or basically, or like the last part, which is grim, is like, are they dead? And like you have to like basically like to the morgue and all that. But so it's like it's hard because you have to know like a little bit about everything. So for example, like a pregnant lady can come in now like in labor. Like I have to know like the basics on like how to deliver a baby.
You delivered babies before?
Yeah, I mean it's part of the requirement.
Come on, man. Clap it up for this guy, man. He's delivered babies. Come on.
Yeah, or like someone can like literally go into like
It's, again, don't say more than what you could say, because I find are these HIPAA violations?
no, I'm not giving you like I'm not giving you like
talk about it. What's the craziest thing you've seen?
I'm not
in the
giving you
ER?
like specifics.
Fair. What's the craziest
I mean
thing you've seen in the ER?
that would probably be like a violation.
okay,
I can
now
talk
you
like
go.
in general.
Okay, let's talk in generalities.
But like for example, like it's not uncommon that like someone could get shot and like get dropped off in front of like the hospital, and then you don't know where they're shot. So there's like basic algorithms of like how you like work through like that kind of patient. Like kids scare me. Like kids don't know how to like talk about what's going on, like what symptoms they have. They just either look really crappy, and you have to discern if it's like, are they really, really crappy, or like, are they just like making this up? And like, yeah, we see like all kinds of things. It's like car accidents, like yeah, just like really, really sick people.
Damn. And that's the thing where, again, I don't think, first of all, good thank you for what you do.
Thank you, appreciate
I don't
it.
think, no, this is a genuine comment. I don't, again, you as a doctor, I don't think doctors in general get the appreciation that they should. Because you're literally saving lives every single day.
Yeah.
Your split-second decision-making might be the difference between life and death. There's so much going on. It's a very, again, you're being stimulated in all these different ways because there's so much going on, so much you have to handle. And again, in all the other jobs that we do, whether it's people are traders or doing, it's like, oh my God, my job is so important. I need to make split-second decisions. So much money's on the line. Fine. But is it really life and death? No, at the end of the day. So again, it's very impressive what you do. Again, I think that skill set will really be more than you realize will be helpful for you in other different careers that you're trying to do down the line.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's crazy to hear about because again, you've talked about like people have died in front of you. It's literally life and death. When people say their job is this, your job is that, is somebody gonna die? No. If not, it's not that serious.
Yeah.
But in your day-to-day, that's literally what you have to experience and what you have to deal with.
It's funny, my motto when I'm working is like anytime I want to do something, I'm like, what's the worst that could happen?
Bro, you can't say that.
No, like literally.
You should say that in any other line of life. The worst that can happen is somebody dies.
I mean, so if that's my answer, then like I don't do it.
Oh.
If that makes sense.
Not really.
No. No,
I'm
so
confused.
It's like so like if, for example, I don't know, this person came in and like they broke their leg.
And you're like, what's okay, I see what
and I'm like, I want to give them this medication, like this pain medicine, which like, oh, it could like knock them out like for a very long time and like they can maybe stop breathing. But it's like, all right, and I can know how to like solve that. Or like if, for example, one that like annoys me is everyone's like, I'm allergic to penicillin. And you're like, what's your allergy? It's like, oh, I don't know. And they're like, if I give this person penicillin, like what's the worst that's gonna happen? Like if like it's indicated, obviously. So, yeah, that's kind of like the motto I go with.
Fair. How similar is working in the ER to any of our favorite TV shows, whether it's House, Grey's Anatomy? How similar or different is it?
So House, I don't think House isn't based in the ER. House is like,
I feel like sometimes he deals with ER people. I know he was like the specialist guy where when no one could figure it out, he comes in the room, he has his Vicodin, and then he figures it. Guys are great.
I thought he was supposed to be, I think, wasn't he a nephrologist or something? I don't know.
I don't know.
But the ones I've like watched semi recently are like Scrubs, which was pretty good. I finished House too, which is cool. Like in med school, there were like some lunch segments. There's some lunch breaks we had where like an attendant or like one of the doctors would like watch an episode of House and like try to figure out like
that's pretty cool.
What was going on.
I thought about doing that, like coming up with like symptoms and having you try to diagnose it.
Oh, no.
We don't have enough time. Next episode we'll do that.
No. But it's cool. But you also be surprised that a lot of those shows, like to the general public, you're like, dang, how did they figure that out?
But then you watch it from your perspective. And it's quite simple. And it's that makes sense.
Maybe not simple, but like if you have the person in front of you and like you ask these like certain questions and you're able to deduce basically a lot of the stuff.
Fair enough. Okay, we're short on time, so we're gonna jump to your TikTok. Abim's a big TikToker. He loves TikToking. Every time we are gathered as a family, we are at home. His most stated line is, "You want to do a TikTok?" I love that we got to the origin that Dr. Oz.
I am not denying that.
Made you the one who loves TikTok. So tell the people about your TikTok. Get Abim Scrubs, and you have one of the viral videos you have.
Yeah. So. First of all, when I was on Dr. Oz, I actually didn't have TikTok back then.
Wow, so that was the origin story. We literally got to the bottom.
I was not a believer in TikTok back then. And then one day I was kind of like, I think it was in residency. I wanted like a way to like journal what I was going through and kind of like, it was almost like a Finsta to me. Like I was like, I don't want people, I just want to put things out there that's creative, that I think is funny for the most part. And then, like, randomly, when some of my TikToks started going off, I was like, all right, I guess. And it's most awkward when, like, at work, people are like, dang, I saw your TikTok.
That's pretty, you're popping off. You had a video that got, what's the most one, 3 million views?
Yeah, like 3.4.
Casual. All my clips get like 300 views on TikTok, but it's okay. So you're the one who needs to help me grow my brand, not the other way around.
I also have a secret bet with like I went to Pizza Friday based off your
last night. How was it? Nice.
It was cool. Yeah, his pizza is amazing.
It's fire.
If you didn't watch the last episode, go watch.
I like that. Call back to another episode. Come on, let's go.
Pizza Friday. That's where I learned about it. But wait, what were we talking?
You said you have a bet.
Oh yeah, I was like, I'm trying to make this your most watched episode.
Oof. Okay, we'll see. One got a solid amount. Okay, we'll see.
Yeah,
fair enough.
But I don't know.
That means you need to send it to everybody.
Yeah, I'm gonna
and
promote
this. Just YouTube. I'm trying to grow the YouTube, so send people the YouTube link.
YouTube, all right, we'll do.
Send people the YouTube link. Cool. Okay, we only have 5 minutes, so I would have wanted to spend more time about the TikTok. I know it goes by quickly. There's a lot to get to, and when the host is such a natural, it kind of goes by natural.
Gotcha, it does.
You see that? You see, it's just not easy. People don't appreciate what it takes to host a podcast. So. Yeah. Somebody sign me, please.
We'll get you there.
Get Abim Scrubs, get Folarin a deal. We'll make it happen. So
get Abim Scrubs quickly.
Oh yes, get Abim
Scrubs.
So
the reason my hashtag on TikTok is get Abim Scrubs is these all like medical influencers who are sponsored by like scrub companies. They get like all these nice free stuff. I think I want to get free stuff.
Get Abim Scrubs. He delivers babies. He saves lives. He's a smart guy. Come on, man. Get Abim Scrubs. Yeah. Hashtag get Abim Scrubs. Every clip I post of this, hashtag get Abim Scrubs.
Yeah, on TikTok.
TikTok. Yes. Gotcha. Okay. And then quickly in our last 4 minutes, so we'll get to the segments, wrapping up the show. 5 songs that describe who you are as a person. Say the reason. Say the song.
Dang. So I was, I got this ready. I was ready.
Good.
All right. So my first one is A$AP Rocky and Skepta.
Okay.
Praise the Lord.
Okay.
So I just love like the UK culture and like the music, the fashion, like sports, and even like the music video is like cool how they like compare like US UK culture. That's one. Second one is Dangote by Burna Boy. So basically Dangote is one of the richest people in the world. So Burna Boy is basically
who's a Nigerian guy for context.
Yeah, he's basically like, if this rich guy is waking up every day to hustle, like why am I not hustling? So that's kind of like motivation. My third one is Beautiful Night by Adekunle Gold.
It's a beautiful. That's gonna play at your wedding.
Yo, so that's that's crazy.
You act like I'm not your brother.
Yeah.
This guy.
So, OG Adekunle Gold was like one of my favorites. Like I love live music in general, and like I just picture that on like a live band playing that on like my wedding day or whenever that is. We'll see, which is cool. So I mean that's 4. I think
that was your third. It was.
Oh no, it was third.
Praise the Lord. Dangote. Beautiful Night. 2 more. Quickly.
So 4th is Love Yours. I think someone else said that on your.
It's a great song.
Love Yours, J. Cole. Yeah. And then my.
Why? Say why? No, you gotta say why.
Love Yours. So I mean, like you were talking about, like medical school, medicine in general is like hard. I think like I've done a lot of like good things. Like I've done a lot of stuff, and it's hard, but I still find myself like comparing myself to other people, thinking I've not like done enough. So like there's no such thing. There's no
life that's better than yours.
Exactly.
That's it. Love it. Okay, number 5.
Number 5.
Very last segment. Quickly
is Made in America, Jay-Z, Kanye West, Frank Ocean. Like I literally think about that as like the theme of like even like our lives.
That's our lives.
It's like
we didn't get into us being immigrants, but yeah, we are.
Yeah, I came into this country at 14. Like if you would have told me now, like I would have like 3 degrees. I'm a doctor. Like
talk about it, ladies. He's single. Talk about it.
Yo, like I'm on TV,
He's
like
on TV.
doing TV stuff. Like
come on,
we didn't even get into like the sports stuff that like I eventually want to do.
Come on, man.
But yeah, I just think I think we made it in
I think
America.
we made it. Come on,
I think we
bro.
made it in America.
And we got a lot more to do.
Yeah,
This is only the
exactly.
beginning. We haven't even scratched the surface. But again, we can appreciate how far we've come.
Yeah.
And then finally, last segment that I do, I have my guests manifest ideal life for yourself 10 years in the future. So you're 29, 39-year-old Abim, to the most specific detail possible. Where do you want to be in 10 years?
So 10 years, I think I manifest I'll be married then. I think maybe one or two.
I hope so, damn nigga.
I hope so too. Hopefully maybe like one or two kids. So I see myself working like part-time in like in an ER. So like part-time that and like part-time either like media or like sports stuff. I think I'm right now trying to find out where in the US I want to live. But eventually I also want to be like half, like maybe 60% in the US or like 70% in the US and like the other time in like Nigeria, and also like just traveling in general. And I think hopefully I'm just like a lot more happy, like still taking care of myself, still like being active every day, still like enjoying life, like all of us still being close together. And yeah.
Inshallah.
Yeah, exactly.
Man, that was beautiful. Look at that. Right on the hour, on the dot. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you. I appreciate it. You made one of my dreams come true. Being on a podcast.
Let's go. Okay, bucket list item checked off.
Exactly.
Glad I could make that happen. But yeah, no, this was a great episode. I think my parting words to the people: doctors are important. It's necessary. The process of becoming one, is it as efficient as it should be? Probably not, in my honest opinion. Yeah. But what you do, what doctors do, it matters. So more people, go be doctors. See, you thought I was trying to make people go away. Yeah. Look at the little switcheroo, the little reverse. We're trying to actually inspire people to change the world and save lives in different ways, and then go make your money in other ways down the line. But this has been another episode of Go With The Flow. Abim, thank you. Hope your summer in New York is amazing.
I hope
We've
so
manifested a lot for you. Hope it all comes true for you. And yeah, this has been another episode of Go With The Flow. Thank you for listening.